The axilla is a pyramidal space situated between proximal arm and the chest wall. Its apex is directed upwards, medially and backwards, and the floor is concave outwards, directed forwards, downwards, and laterally. As such shall be the anatomical position of the clavicle and the scapula. These bones are not proportionate to each other but will be giving us certain idea about how the axilla is formed. Given that the apex is directed upwards, medially and backwards, it is formed by three bones. The first rib in fact is attached to the manubrial sterni. Now it is clear that the apex of the axilla is actually triangular and it is having three borders. It is formed by the posterior border of the clavicle, the outer margin of the rib, of the first rib, and the superior border of the scapula. The cervicoaxillary canal or the apex of the axilla is the opening from which three structures pass, that is the axillary veins, axillary artery, and the brachial plexus. Moving along towards the four walls of the axilla, starting with the posterior wall, it is quite clear that the scapula will be the main bony base for the posterior wall of the axilla. It is majorly formed by three muscles, most important being the subscapularis muscle, which is attached over the 2/3 median part of the subscapular fossa. Notice how the subscapularis muscle is covering the teres minor origin. As a result, the teres minor will not play a role in formation of the posterior wall of axilla. Yet, teres major origin is exposed. As a result, teres major will form the posterior wall of the axilla. Apart from that, minor origin fibers of the latissimus dorsi also play an important role in formation of the wall. So hence, the posterior wall of the axilla is formed by three muscles: subscapularis, teres major, and latissimus dorsi. The major part of the lateral wall of the axilla is formed by the proximal shaft of the humerus. Apart from the humerus, two muscles play important role in formation of the wall. That is, at the part of the origin at the coracoid process by two muscles, the short head of biceps brachii and the coracobrachialis muscle. The medial wall of the axilla is formed by the outer convex surface of the ribs. Apart from that, the intercostal spaces and respective intercostal muscles play important role in formation of the medial wall. Also, at the upper segments, digitations of serratus anterior play an important role by inserting over the medial border of the scapula as such, forming the medial wall of the axilla. The anterior wall of the axilla is formed by three structures. Two of them are muscles and one is a derivative of the deep fascia called the clavipectoral fascia. The two muscles involve superficially the pectoralis major muscle and the deeper pectoralis minor muscle. The clavipectoral fascia is important as it covers and marginates two important muscles, the subclavius and the pectoralis minor. The subclavius muscle is attached to the subclavian margins at the inferior surface of the clavicle. It encapsulates it as such. It runs downwards in a single uniform layer and marginates and encapsulates the pectoralis minor's digitations. The clavipectoral fascia is attached superiorly to the inferior surface of the clavicle bone. It encapsulates the subclavius muscle as such and runs down as a single file. Further, it splits and encapsulates the digitations of the pectoralis minor muscles. Laterally, it is attached to the coracoid process of the scapula. Running from it, the fibers of the coracobrachialis muscle at its medial end. It runs inferiorly to continue with the axillary fascia. The medial end of the clavipectoral fascia marginates with the intercostal spaces and related muscles. However, its true attachment arises only at the origin of external oblique muscle. The clavipectoral fascia is pierced by four structures: the thoracoacromion artery, the cephalic vein, the lateral pectoral nerve, and respected lymphatics. The medial pectoral nerve actually pierces the pectoralis major and hence does not pierce the clavipectoral fascia directly. The thoracoacromion vein, which should accompany the thoracoacromion artery, actually does not and henceforth does not pierce the clavipectoral fascia. It has a peculiar course and directly drains into the cephalic vein.